Hey family, welcome to day 61 of Devotional Time for Mindset. Hey Anita, Sabrina, Stephanie, Shamik, welcome back. Kershie, TJE, welcome. Hey Megan Ward, RXO, Soleil, welcome back. Good to see you guys. Hey everyone. Listen, I cannot see everyone that popped on unless you comment. Okay, that's the way I can for sure know that you are here and present with us. Because on some platforms, I have to look over at just the right moment to see your name scroll up on the scene. And a lot of the other platforms, I have no clue that you're there unless you comment. comment. So please let me know where around the world you are tuned in from. Just comment live and let me know your city, state, country. Hey, Eva. Hey, Arlene. Hey, Thomas and Shane. Meow Meow Gravy is tuned in live from Detroit. Welcome. Shamik says, hey, cousin. Welcome back, Shamik. Over here on Facebook, and Fran is tuned in live from Chicago. It is good to see each and every one of you. Brother Isaac, Queen Country. Soleil says, hey, cousin, tuned in live from Sacramento, California. Hey, Wanda. Hey, Jazzy. Welcome, family. Welcome back. Jazzy says, hi, and a happy face emoji. Welcome, Joyce Shanae. Listen, guys, you already know the deal, okay? I need you to share this live stream out, no matter what platform you are tuned in from, and then comment, like, love, do all the things, because then that tells the internet world that, hey, this is a pretty popular live stream. Maybe we should share it to some people that have no clue it exists, because we never know who's going to need the lessons that we are going to talk about tonight, okay? So that is all I ask of you, to just share it out and comment your insights, your ahas. Definitely comment your questions into the comment section, okay? Because once we get into our discussion and have our chat, I am going to do my best to answer those for you. Hey, Chin. Hey, Cody. Thanks for tuning in. Cody, Cheyenne, thank you for sharing the live. Hey, Reginald. Hey, Kavea. Welcome. Okay, guys. Ooh, we got Mama Net. She says, hello, family, tuning in live from Indiana. Katasha over on YouTube says, good morning, everyone, tuning in live from Maryland. Rachel, I see your sunflower emojis. Welcome. Casriel and Sia, welcome. If it's your first time tuning into Devotional Time for Mindset, then let me know so I can officially welcome you to the family, okay? We're the fun cousins that you like to be around at the family reunion. Cody Cheyenne says, hey, over on TikTok. All right, so this is Devotional Time for Mindset, and we are on day 61 of our 100-day journey. You can actually download your free copy of the book Battlefield of the Mind Devotional, not just the regular book, but the devotional, at mindsetmastersuite.com. That way you can follow along with us as we go through our devotional. Kavea says it's her first time over on Instagram. Well, welcome, Kavea. Where are you tuned in from? We're the fun ones. We're the rowdy bunch, okay? Grandma has to separate us at the dinner table because we're the ones cracking up. Hey, Kia Simi, welcome back. Tuned in live from Nigeria. Okay, so mindsetmastersuite.com is where you can download your free copy of the book, and you can also submit a prayer request. You can contribute your answers to our favored list. You can subscribe to our Devotional Time for Mindset community, where we are going to be all together and connect even further. And that is your home base for all things Devotional Time for Mindset, okay? We're here every day, same time, same place for 100 days straight. And we've already been here for 60 days, and today is day 61. So if you want to check out some of the other platforms, there's also the link to the YouTube channel if you want to watch all the replays, or if you just want to watch the video live, okay? Or the replay live, whichever one. It's all there at mindsetmastersuite.com. It's Cody Cheyenne's first time here. Welcome to the family, Cody. Hey, welcome back, Cunningham. Okay, guys, allow me to introduce myself, and then we are going to get started for day 61, because I got something good, especially if you're an overthinker. Ooh, today is really going to be good. It's going to be good for everybody, but even more so for the overthinkers, and hashtag recovering overthinker over here, okay? My name is Lindsay Vertner. I'm a mindset expert, speaker, and actress, and I work with high-achieving leaders to help them prioritize self without guilt, specifically in the areas of what I call the 3 pillars of self-care, self-worth, and self-discipline, because those 3 pillars subconsciously impact every single thing that we do in life, okay? It is a part of my purpose here on this earth to help each and every one of you, Kavea and Cody and Kershie and Kiasimi and Stephanie, and all of you, all of the cousins here, to create a first-class life, which is a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness, okay? And God actually desires that for each and every one of us, but we have to be willing to accept it and do what we need to do to create it into our life, all right? Kia Simi says, hey, family. Okay, guys, are you guys ready? Ready? Again, you can download your free copy at mindsetmastersuite.com if you want to follow along with us. For all of our new cousins here, the very first thing that we do is we read the devotional directly from the book. Okay. And then after we read the devotional, we talk about it. We talk about it. We laugh about it. We might even cry about it, but it's going to be good. All right. So let's get started with day 61. The topic of day 61 is titled, Don't Let the Devil Steal It. The opening scripture reads, For it is like a man who was about to take a long journey, and he called his servants together and entrusted them with his property. He who had received 1 talent also came forward, saying, Master, I knew you to be harsh and hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you had not winnowed the grain. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here you have what is your own. That's from Matthew chapter 24, verses 14 and verses 24 and 25. The devotional reads, Jesus often gave people illustrations containing life lessons that could be applied to common situations in which most anyone can find themselves in at any given time. The parable of the talents is such an illustration. A talent was the type of currency used in Jesus' day. 1 talent is said to have been worth more than $1,000. This particular parable describes a man who gave certain amounts of money to 3 of his servants with the instruction to invest it. I find 2 very interesting points in this story. First, the landowner distributed the money according to each person's ability. He didn't try to burden his workers with more than they were capable of handling. The 2 men to whom he gave the most money invested wisely and doubled their investments. Upon the landowner's return, they were made full partners in the business. The second thing I realized is that the 2 with the most ability used it wisely and were richly rewarded. The third man, however, the one with the least ability, failed. Think about this. God didn't ask the third man to invest 5 talents or even 3 talents. He knew this man wasn't capable of handling such a task. He gave the third servant the least amount of responsibility, and that man still failed. Worse, he tried to justify his failure by blaming the master. But he also said something else, and that's the secret to understanding this story. He said, I was afraid and hid your talent in the ground. He didn't lose the money, but he did nothing with it. And the master responded, You wicked and lazy and idle servant. Let's turn that around. The owner said, Then you should have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming, I would have received what was my own with interest. Suppose the man had gone to the bank and invested as the owner suggested. He would never have made as much profit as the other 2, and that would have been all right because all the owner asked was for him to do what he could. Take note of that, family, okay? To do what was reasonably expected of him. That's one way the devil snares us. He causes us to compare ourselves with others and see how much money or talents they have. Or he tells us other people are given more opportunities than we will ever have. But God doesn't ask us to do what someone else does. He asks us to use the gifts and abilities that he has given to us. I truly believe that God has a plan for each of our lives. A life lived in faith and obedience to God's word causes his plan to unfold before our eyes. Clutching what little we have in fear won't allow us to fulfill God's plan. In fact, this kind of mindset allows the devil to lie to us and cause us to give up on our dreams and God's plan for our lives. Fear only supplies the characteristics of the idle, lazy, and wicked servant. When we listen to the devil, we soon believe we can do nothing. He'll convince us that everything we attempt will fail. But if we listen to God, we will hear the words of the Lord. Well done, you good and upright and faithful servant. You have been faithful and trustworthy over a little, so I will put you in charge of much. Enter into and share the joy which your master enjoys. In other words, inherit his kingdom, like we talked about yesterday. It is not how much we accomplish that is important, but it's being faithful to the ability God has given us that makes the difference. The closing prayer reads, Loving and caring Father, I don't know which of those three men I'm the most like in terms of my ability, but I pray that you will make me faithful to fulfill your plan for my life. In the name of your Son, Jesus, I thank you for helping me. Thank you, Lord, for helping me keep the enemy from stealing the little or the much you have given me. Amen. Okay. Hey, Jilly Bean. She says, hey, sister, over on TikTok. Welcome back. Hey, Annie. Hey, Thiago Severo. Welcome, welcome. If you're just tuning in, we just completed our day 61 devotional reading from the book Battlefield of the Mind Devotional. You can download your free copy at mindsetmastersuite.com. You can submit a prayer request at mindsetmastersuite.com. You can contribute your answers to our favored list at mindsetmastersuite.com. You can join our I was about to say DTM, which is what it is, but you can join our devotional time for mindset, aka DTM community at mindsetmastersuite.com. Just click the button to subscribe, and that's where we can go deeper and connect even further. We will have guest speakers and all the works. We're going to talk about that a little bit more later on, but that is where you can find all the things to devotional time for mindset. Okay. If you're tuned in via audio and you want to watch the video, all the links are over on mindsetmastersuite.com. All right. So, family, it's time for our discussion. Are y'all ready for this? Okay. Cousin Joyce is back with us. She says, hello, live from South Carolina. Jilly Bean is live in Nevada. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, don't let the devil steal it. And in this case, we aren't talking about riches. We're talking about your gift. Raise your hand if you know what your gift is. And then raise your other hand if you actually use your gift. Raise your hand if you know what your purpose is. Raise your other hand if you have 4 hands, if you actually walk in your purpose. Because here's the thing, we like to make excuses and not utilize our gifts the way God is calling us to utilize our gifts. Jilly Bean says, yeah, girl, Mercedes has her hands up on TikTok. And guess what, guys? Most of us will say we know our gifts or that we're using our gifts, but we're like the third man with the talent. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with the story that we talked about in the devotional, it was a parable that he was given to teach a lesson. And the parable was the master, he came and he had his 3 servants, and he gave one servant a lot. He gave one servant just a little bit, and he gave one servant only 1 talent. I think it was 5, 3, and 1 that he gave them. And the 2 servants that had the larger amounts, they went out and they doubled the investment. So if it was 5, they doubled it to 10. If it was 3, they doubled it to 6. Either way, they doubled the money that the master had given them while he was away. But the third one that only received 1 talent, he was too scared to do anything with it. He didn't move it forward. He didn't lose it away, which some people do with their gifts. They squander it away, waste it away. But he didn't even do that. He was so scared that he did nothing with his gift. And so when the master came back, he was happy with the 2 that invested it wisely and doubled the profit. And he said, because you have managed what I've given you so far wisely, I am going to give you more. I am going to richly reward you with more. And then the last one, who was scared and did nothing with the 1 that he had, not 15, not 5 million, but 1, he said, he was angry. Why would you do that? Dang, you couldn't even take it to a bank and let it sit in an account and gain some interest? Like, you couldn't even do that with the 1 that I gave you? Now I'm upset. because you've wasted what I've given you. You've wasted the money I've given you. And so God is talking the same thing to us. He's the master, we're the servants. And he's given each and every one of us talents and skills and gifts and purposes. Some of us have a lot. Some of us have a few. Some of us only have one, but each and every one of us have some to some degree. And some of us are using them wisely. We're advancing the kingdom. We're doing for others. We're breaking curses, generational curses. We're breaking cycles of poverty. We're doing the things that God has called us to do. We are being obedient to his instruction. And then others of us are too scared to move. We're too scared to do anything because of this or because of that. We're allowing fear to stop us from investing wisely. And God is looking down and saying, I have given you this gift and you're wasting it. Now I am upset with you. And because you can't manage a little bit of things, how are you going to expect me to trust you with more? And we talked about this, family, on a previous day. We talked about it in all different kinds of ways. How you manage $5 is how you manage $5 million. So having more money does not solve your money issues. It only magnifies the issues. So you have to learn how to manage $5 before you can manage $5,000, before you can manage $5 million. Because if you can't budget and manage accordingly $5, then you can't budget and manage accordingly 5 million. You're going to lose it just like you lose the 5. And it's the same with our gifts. If we aren't using the small gifts that God gives us, then how can we expect him to bless us with more? He said, I can't even trust you with the 1, but yet you want 10. Julie Bean says, I did not mean to say geek. Ha ha ha. Oops. It's okay. I understood. Mercedes says, yes, we all do. And right. On Clubhouse, Kia Simi says, hands up. Her hand is raised. Okay. So let's dive into this a little bit further. So I want us to look at Exodus chapter 4, verses 1 through 17. Because here's the thing, cousins. It's not about how much we are given. It's about how obedient we are with what God gives us. Mercedes says, preach that thing. Thanks, Mercedes. I'm going to say that again. It is not about how much we are given. It is about how obedient we are with what God gives us. That's the key thing that we want to focus on, and not allowing the enemy to steal that away and make us fearful. Okay. So let's look at Exodus 4, verses 1 through 17. Hey, Lolita. Exodus chapter 4, verses 1 through 17. So this is when God is giving Moses power. Okay. He's calling him to the front. He's saying, Moses, come to the front of the classroom because I'm about to drop this power on you. And then I need you to go spread it to all the other classrooms. Okay, that's what's happening here. That was my modern day summary. So verse 1, Moses asked, I'm just going to read through. I'm going to do my best not to stop in between the verses and break them down, because we're going to have a lot of lessons from these 17 verses. Okay, so I'm just going to read through the verses, and then we're going to break down the lessons from this story as a whole. All right. Let me see. Okay, verse 1. Moses asked the Lord. Wait, before I start, I want y'all to also write down, as you're hearing me read the verses, write down what you think might be the lesson. Okay. And then see if you were able to decipher and pull it out. So Moses asked the Lord, suppose everyone refuses to listen to my message and no one believes that you really appeared to me. The Lord answered, what's that in your hand? A walking stick, Moses replied. Throw it down, the Lord commanded. So Moses threw the stick on the ground. It immediately turned into a snake and Moses jumped back. Pick it up by the tail, the Lord told him. And when Moses did this, the snake turned back into a walking stick. Do this, the Lord said, and the Israelites will believe that you have seen me, the God who was worshipped by their ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Next, the Lord commanded Moses, put your hand inside your shirt. Moses obeyed. And when he took it out, his hand had turned white as snow, like someone with leprosy. Now put your hand back inside your shirt, the Lord told him. Moses did so. And when he took it out again, it was healthy as the rest of his body. Then the Lord said, if no one believes either of these miracles, take some water from the Nile River and pour it on the ground. The water will immediately turn into blood. Moses replied, I have never been a good speaker. I wasn't one before you spoke to me, and I'm not one now. I am slow at speaking, and I can never think of what to say. But the Lord answered, who makes people able to speak, or makes them deaf or unable to speak? Who gives them sight or makes them blind? Don't you know that I am the one who does those things? Now go. When you speak, I will be with you and give you the words to say. Moses begged, Lord, please send someone else to do it. The Lord became angry with Moses and said, what about your brother Aaron, the Levite? I know he is a good speaker. He is already on his way here to visit you, and he will be happy to see you again. Aaron will speak to the people for you, and you will be like me, telling Aaron what to say. I will be with both of you as you speak, and I will teach each of you what to do. Now take this walking stick and use it to perform miracles. Did y'all get y'all lessons down? Because I have a whole bunch of things that we can learn from this section of Exodus. Mercedes says, we show our faith in him by using what he has qualified us already in our gifts. Yes, Mercedes. You guys ready for these lessons? Okay, guys. So first and foremost, what did we learn from Exodus chapter 4? Moses was fearful and he was overthinking. God has called him to a position of power. And rather than accepting that power without question and being immediately obedient, instead he was fearful and he started overthinking. He started thinking about all the things that might happen, all the ways that the people wouldn't listen to him. Well, what if this happens? Well, what if that happens? Well, what if? He was fearful. At some point, he even straight up said, God, send somebody else to do it. I'm too scared to do it. Jeez Louise. So here are some of the excuses that he said, and this was nobody but the enemy playing in his thoughts. Even though he was called by God, even though he was having a conversation with God, the enemy was still playing in his thoughts. And so Moses asked him, he essentially said, well, what if nobody supports me? You told me to do this, but what if nobody supports me? What if nobody gets it? What if nobody listens? What if nobody buys it? What if nobody understands? How many of y'all have ever said any one of those sentences to yourself? Cunningham says, don't hold yourself back over on Instagram. Hey, Stargazer. Hey, Mary. Okay. Anybody ever said those words? Hey, D, welcome back. What if nobody supports me? What if nobody understands? What if I'm the black sheep? What if I'm the only one doing it? Jilly Bean says, me on TikTok. Kia Simi says, I say it almost every time. I know my hand is up. I've definitely been there. And if for any of you that have businesses or are entrepreneurs, then I'm sure you've been there every other day at some points. Because, woo, entrepreneurship ain't for the faint of heart. Katasha says, yes. Okay. Here's what else Moses said. Moses says, I'm not good enough. Ooh, I got to raise both hands on that. That is my ongoing kryptonite. Have I been able to manage it and control it as I've grown older and more mature and wiser? Absolutely. But it's still there. And every time I'm about to elevate to another level, it starts to creep up. But because I am aware of it, I am aware that that is my kryptonite, and I am aware of how it impacts my behaviors, I can catch it a lot faster, and I can control how it shows up in my life versus the other way around. This is why awareness is so important, and being willing to improve the areas where we are weak is so important. I'm not good enough. That is my ongoing strife. That is what caused me to be a people pleaser. That is what caused me to be a perfectionist. That is what caused me to be an overachiever. That subconscious belief of not being good enough. So if all these different people like me, then I must be good enough. If I'm good at all these things, then I must be good enough. If I can just make this perfect, then I must be good enough. And I had to heal and find the root cause of where that thought stemmed from, where that subconscious belief stemmed from. And so we all have limiting beliefs that we operate with. We just got to identify them. Katasha says, sure isn't. Woo! Jeez Louise. She says, yes, be aware of your kryptonite. Mercedes says, I've had those conversations with God in the beginning of using my talents due to fear. She says, yes, it does. Mercedes says, or why me? Who would believe the words God was giving me? And we talked about on a previous day that we have to change our why me questions into why not me? Who better than me? Okay. Thank you, Lord, for allowing me this opportunity to serve your kingdom. Hey, Destiny. Kia Simi says, I say many people are doing it. So what can I say or do that many people aren't doing already? And Kia Simi, that is a common one. I hear that all the time in working with entrepreneurs, or I see it online. Well, dang, I know 15 people that sell the same thing. And then, so how am I supposed to sell it? It's already oversaturated. It's oversaturated to you because you're surrounding yourself with those same people. But God called you to a different audience who are going to connect with you and you specifically, and how you make t-shirts, or how you serve burgers, or how you knit quilts. I don't know. Think how many people make covers of the same songs on YouTube, but they all have a different flair to them. If you go outside and go to the main intersection, how many different burger places are on the same corner in the same mile radius? But they all have lines at their drive-through window. Some people like Red Robin, some people like McDonald's, some people like Five Guys, some people like Burger King. Some people don't like burgers at all. And they talk about people who eat burgers, but that doesn't stop McDonald's from showing up and serving burgers. Some people like pizza, Pizza Hut, Papa John's, oven baked pizza, Firestone pizza. I don't know. Y'all get the point. But that doesn't stop all the pizza bakeries from baking pizza. Mercedes says, maturity in God and trusting in Him changed me in Him. I love that. Okay. So Moses, first he was talking about what if nobody supports me, blah, blah, blah. And then when that didn't work and God still was calling him to do what he called him to do, then he said, well, I'm not good enough, God. He told him straight up. He said, I can't speak. I wasn't a good speaker before. I'm not a good speaker now. There's no possible way that I can still be a good speaker, even though you're here with me. So please, please don't send me, because I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to be the speaker that you're telling me to be. He started focusing on all the ways he was lacking and all the things that he didn't have. And when that still didn't work and God still told him, you are to do this, then that's when he was finally like, you know what, God, I'm just scared. My excuses weren't working, so let me be real and tell you I'm scared. So please, 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 please send somebody else to do it, God. Let me just shrink myself. Let me stay in my comfort zone. Please don't stretch me. Please don't put me in front of people. Please don't force me to do things that make me uncomfortable. Please don't make me sacrifice my comfort for your kingdom. Ooh, that's a word right there, because that's what a lot of us are doing. We don't want to sacrifice our comfort zone to advance to the next level, or to advance God's kingdom, or to release our healing or release our blessing. Remember when I told you about the story of me being uncomfortable in the airplane seat and I didn't want to move because I was too nervous that if I moved, I would make it worse, because it took me a while to get comfortable. Even though there was the full possibility that I could put myself in a better position. But I was too nervous. So I literally stayed in the same position, a very uncomfortable position, for the remainder of the flight. And some of us are doing that very thing with our gifts, with our talents, with our purpose, with our lives. We are too scared to move. And so we stay in position, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's chaotic, even if it's toxic, because we know it. We're familiar with it. And remember what we learned on previous days: the brain likes familiar, it likes patterns. Mercedes says, well, hey, Sylvia, hey, Ghetto. Okay, so those are the things. Moses was fearful and he was overthinking and he was making excuses. But God wasn't hearing it. He didn't care about any of that. I can imagine God just staring there looking at him like, are you done yet? Did you forget who I am? Because allow me to remind you. So here's how God responded. God gave him instructions, and then Moses started with the excuses. God didn't care. God still gave him instructions. Some of us are waiting for God to speak to us, and we're mad because we don't feel like we're hearing God, when actuality, God already told us what to do. But because it's not what we wanted to hear, we keep asking him to speak to us. And then we keep getting mad that God's not speaking to me. I can't hear God. I don't know what's going on. Why can't I get out of the situation? Because he already told you what to do, family. That's it. Hey, Nata Love. He already told you what to do. And here's another thing that we can learn from this section, Exodus 4, verses 1 through 17. God didn't give him all the instructions. When he was doing the little demonstrations right there in front of him, he didn't give him the whole plan. Did y'all notice that? He gave him one instruction at a time. Let's go back and look. Okay, because some of y'all still not hearing me. You're not hearing what I'm saying. He did not give him the A to Z instructions. He did not give him the entire one-on-one manual of how to lead the people. He said, what's in your hand? Moses replied, a walking stick. Then God told him to throw it down. Pause. God didn't say throw it down and then pick it up and then put your hand in your shirt and then take your hand out your shirt and then repeat the process. No, God said throw it down. One step. So Moses threw the stick down. After Moses threw the stick down, God gave him the next step and said, pick it up by the tail. So Moses picked it up by the tail, and it turned from a snake back into a walking stick. After he picked it up, he completed step 2. Then God said, do this, and the people will believe you. He addresses his concern. Don't worry about all that other stuff you're worrying about. Do what I just told you to do, and the people will believe you. But yet Moses was still tripping like, hey, are you sure, God? So again, God gave him another step, one at a time. God said, put your hand in your shirt. The one singular step. So Moses put his hand in his shirt. And then he pulled it out. and his hand was full of leprosy. Now, back in these days, leprosy was a disease that was going around rampant. It was very not something that you wanted to catch. And you know how we were plagued with COVID for a while. Leprosy was the thing at the time. Okay, that was the thing that everybody was scared of catching. So Moses put his hand in his shirt, and then he had leprosy. And so essentially, this was God showing him that I have the ability to do whatever I wanted to do. I just turned your stick into a snake. I just gave you leprosy on your hand. And now I want you to put your hand back in your shirt and pull it out again. And now it's healed. So I have the ability to heal whatever is happening. So God is just demonstrating his power. But again, what I want you to notice is that he gave him the steps one at a time. And after he completed the step, he gave him the next step. And so with many of us, we aren't moving in our gifts because we're waiting on God to give us the whole manual, to give us all the steps from the beginning to the end. And that's not how it works. Hey, cousin Tabitha. Yeah, I see it popping up, but I don't have the ability to block it on my end yet. I have to go back and block the spammer afterwards on directly on the platform. But thank you. If you're able to block it from your view, go right ahead. And thank you for letting everybody else know. Yes, that is a spammer leaving all kinds of comments. So just ignore it for now or block it if you can. Otherwise, I will go back and block it afterwards. Mercedes has the praising hands emojis and the clapping hands emojis over on TikTok. Hey, the shop panda. Okay, so God gave the instructions to Moses step by step, and God has given us instructions step by step. And the reason we're not hearing God is because we won't move on the first step he gave us. Yet we're complaining. And so eventually God is going to get angry. And he's saying, you aren't managing the gifts that I gave you right now, yet you want me to bless you with more. Carly says, oh my God, Lindsay. Hey, good to see you. Let us know where you're tuned in from. Okay. So let's look at the next lesson that we can learn from this. God is telling Moses that anyone who is capable of doing anything is because I gave them the ability to. Carly is tuned in live from Maryland. Candy Rap is tuned in live from Oxnard. Where is Oxnard, Candy Rap? Is that a country? Is that I don't know. Is that a city? Is it in the U.S.? Oh, Oxnard, California. Learn something new every day. Well, welcome, Candy, and welcome back, Carly. Nisi King says, this is amazing over on Facebook. Thank you. It's the Lord. He gave me the words and notes to give to y'all, okay? So this is the next lesson that we can learn from Exodus 4, 1 through 17. If you are just tuning in, definitely make sure you go to mindsetmastersuite.com and click on the YouTube link so that you can watch the replay and catch the part that you missed already, all right? But don't go now because we got more to talk about. So the next lesson, God was telling Moses, because remember, Moses says, I'm not a good speaker. Please don't send me to help these people. I don't know how to speak. I didn't know how to speak yesterday or last month or last year, and I still don't know how to speak now. So please don't send me. And so God is saying, looking at him like he's crazy, and he's like, excuse me, who gives people the ability to speak? I do. Who gives people the ability to walk? I do. So if I'm telling you to do something, I will give you the ability to do it. Soleil says right on time over on Instagram. Hey, Ashley, welcome. Hey, Janet. Okay. Moses was not powerful on his own. He was powerful because God was with him. God gave him the abilities and the powers to do the miracles that he called him to do. Remember what we said, cousins. If God calls you, he will equip you. If he gave you the vision, he will give you the provision. If he gave you instructions to do something with the gift that you have, he will supply the way. He will supply the resources. He will supply the support. He will make the path before you. He will put people in position along the journey that need to be in position to help you down the way. People that you don't even know that you're going to need a year from now, a month from now, next week, tomorrow, 5 years from now. He's putting them in position, which is one reason why we said we can't jump the gun. We can't skip levels, because sometimes when we try to skip levels, we fumble the ball because we haven't developed the characteristics or the skills that we need to manage where he's taken us successfully. Or sometimes we drop the ball because the people that need to be in positions at certain times in certain places haven't been placed in those positions yet. So God is always moving on our behalf, and we're the ones that get impatient with waiting. Or we're too scared to move in the first place. Mercedes says, yes, yes. Hey, Legacy Graphics, welcome. Welcome back, Katina. And this is the case of Moses. Moses is giving all the excuses of why he can't lead these people. And so this is how God is responding. He still gave him the instructions anyway. And then he said straight up to him, you will be capable of speaking to the people because I will give you the words to say. I just need you to go there. I need you to be obedient to what I'm calling you to do. And then I will supply you with the resources, with the tools, with the skills, with the support that you need once you get there. I will give you the words to speak. You guys have seen that happen to me. Remember that one day where I was like, look, y'all, I don't got but literally 2 notes on my notepad right here. I just couldn't think of what to say. And yet we were still here an hour and a half later from my 2 notes. It works. The Lord is faithful. He is true. And what he calls you to do, he will equip you to do. Okay? Here's something else that we learned. God got mad at him. He got mad and tired of the excuses. Remember, we talked about, family, that God will show us patience and more patience than we ever deserve. But eventually, he's going to get mad, which may come with some consequences. And he's going to say, you know what? Okay, you don't want to do what I'm calling you to do. That's fine. I'm not going to force you to do anything, because remember, we have free will. Cousin Tabitha says, amen, over on Facebook. But you're going to miss out on your blessings because you don't want to follow and be obedient. And that's okay. I'm not going to force you. But now I'm going to move on. So God got mad at Moses, but eventually he agreed to send Moses help. And God was with both Moses and his help. And his help was his brother Aaron. God said, okay, fine. Because Moses was not giving up. He just kept making excuses and making excuses and making excuses. Now, we talked about not giving up, but this is not the thing that we want to not give up on, okay? We don't want to not give up our excuses. Those are the things we want to give up. But when God calls us to move, that's where we don't want to give up. But in this case, Moses was not giving up his excuses, and he was just scared and fearful and overthinking. So finally, God agreed, and he said, okay, you know what? Your brother is a good speaker. I will send your brother to you. He's already coming to visit you. He will be very happy to see you. And since your brother is already a good speaker, I will speak to you, and you will speak to your brother, and your brother will speak to the people. So he used both of them. God spoke to Moses. Moses spoke to his brother Aaron, and then Aaron spoke to the people. That way, Moses was still being used, but he was being used through Aaron because he was too fearful to do it on his own. So God said, okay, here's your help. Now, Cousin Nisi says, amen on Facebook. Mercedes says, yes, yes, on TikTok. Hey, Connie, welcome. Now, here's the thing, family. God called Moses. Welcome back, Kay. God called Moses to do the main thing. Okay. And then he called Aaron to help Moses with the main thing. hmm And yes, I said thing, Thang. So for all of you guys, all of you grammar Nazis, the main thing, but that sounds boring. God just told Moses to do the main thing. And then he sent Aaron to help Moses do the main thing. Moses was the main character, Aaron was the supporting character. Okay? Hey Renee, welcome back. And so, cousins, in some seasons, we are to be Moses and do the main thing. And then in other seasons, we are to be Aaron and help someone else do the main thing. So, which season are you in? Are you in your Moses season or are you in your Aaron season? Are you supposed to be doing the main thing or are you supposed to be helping someone else do the main thing? But get this, family, even if you're in your Aaron season, God still called you to be obedient because he said he would be with both of them, not just Moses, even though Moses was to speak to Aaron. He said he would be with both of them. And I'll read it directly. Verse 16, 15, 16, and 17. Aaron will speak to the people for you, and you will be like me, telling Aaron what to say. In other words, you're going to be like me, God. I'm going to tell you what to say. You're going to be like me and tell Aaron what to say. And then God said, I will be with both of you as you speak, and I will tell each of you what to do. Now take this walking stick and use it to perform miracles. Get out of my face. All these daggone excuses. And so which season are you in? Are you in your Aaron season or are you in your Moses season? Are you to be the main character or the supporting character? Either way, God called you to be in that position for a reason. Okay? So I'm really excited because I literally just got this revelation as I was writing down notes before we got started tonight on day 61. Because by now you should be aware that we officially have a devotional time for mindset community, and you can subscribe to the community at mindsetmastersuite.com. I know I saw a notification for cousin Nancy already subscribed, cousin Jesse already subscribed, and I'm just like, God is so good, family. Because you guys have been asking me, well, what happens after the 100 days is over? What do we do then? Where do we go? How can we connect with each other? And I was conflicted because I knew I didn't have the capacity to do something more or further. And I definitely didn't want it to be a distraction. So I sat on it. I heard what y'all was saying and I know what I was feeling. Hey, Veltra. And I allowed the Lord to tell me what and when. And so here we are with Devotional Time for Mindset Community, where we can connect all 8 of these different platforms right now into one spot. And you guys can directly connect with each other rather than speaking through me to each other right now on the lives. You can come together as one. We will have a monthly live with the lesson. We will have guest speakers, but here's the revelation that I got literally as I was preparing for day 61. Right now, I am in a Moses season. I am helping each and every one of you in your lives, in whatever it is that you may or may not be going through in your spiritual walk overall. However, and this was so sweet. Whenever it came to me, I closed my eyes and I literally said, God, you are amazing. And just thank you for trusting me with this assignment. Because currently, for this first 100 days, I am in a Moses season. I am doing the main thing. But God told me just tonight, not even an hour ago. Well, I guess it would have been a little bit over an hour ago, that with the devotional time for mindset community, where I need each and every one of you to subscribe to and connect with each other, I will be transitioning out of the Moses season and I will be transitioning in to an Aaron season. And guess what? Each and every one of you, Mercedes and Tabitha and Katina and Katasha and Kia Simi and Stephanie and Shamik and Jilly Bean and everyone, Brittany and Soleil, you will be transitioning from just a watcher into your Moses season. Did y'all follow that? Mercedes says, amen and thank you. Tabitha says, man, you healing me, helping me get closer to God. Thank you for trusting me, Tabitha, on this journey. I do not take it lightly. But did y'all hear what I just said? Allow me to repeat it. I will be transitioning from a Moses season that I'm in right now into an Aaron season, and specifically with the devotional time for mindset community. You will be transitioning from just a watcher, from just a person tuning in every night, into your Moses season, not your Aaron season, but your Moses season. I'm going to become Aaron. You're going to become Moses. Whatever is your gift that God called you to do in whatever area it may be in, it is time for you to use it. Mercedes says yes. Katasha says, wow, yes. And it's time for you to step up. So at the end of the 100 days, don't ask me what's next, because now you know what's next. Devotional time for mindset community is what's next. And it's time for you to use your gift or take your gift to the next level. It is time for you to stop being a passive watcher. Stop being a passive player. Stop being a background actor and move up into main character. Take your gift and elevate it. Take your gift and use it. Dust off your gift and put it into use. Kay is giving hand clap emojis on Instagram. Kia Simi says, from the watcher to Moses. This is huge. It's supposed to be Aaron. Oh my God, help me. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to be Aaron, helping you. That's funny. Mercedes says, okay now. Nisa King says, yes. And I hope y'all are receiving that, because if you were waiting for a sign, if you were waiting for a message, this is it. God is calling you, and he's saying that it is time for you to step up in your gift and or gifts. It is time for you to take the thing and make it the main thing. It is time for you to step out of being a watcher, being an observer, passively going through day to day, and be aggressive, be assertive, be the leader that I called you to be in your respective gift. Mercedes says, okay now. And I don't know what that gift is. For some of you, maybe it's singing. For some of you, it's cooking. For some of you, it's baking, cousin Brittany. For some of you, it's leading. For some of you, it's ministry. Well, we all have a ministry, okay? Anything you're doing for the Lord is your ministry. You don't have to be a pastor specifically and have a congregation in a church building. Mercedes says, I receive this word. For some of you, it's teaching in your respective field. For some of you, it's helping people break the cycles of poverty and building wealth. For some of you, maybe it's helping people get good credit scores. For some of you, maybe it's helping people obtain their first homes without being raped by the system. Not to be so graphic, but that's what happens, especially for minority people and people of color. I don't know what your specific gift is. You know that, or maybe you don't know that. But I am here telling you now, prepare yourself. Because technically, you don't have to wait until the 100 days is over. You can start now, but just know that that is what's next. You asking me what happens next? I just told you. It is time for you to step fully into your gifts that God has given you. It is time for you to invest wisely the talents that God has given you, to double and triple and quadruple it before God gets angry. So, I say all that to say, I hope you guys are ready to become Moses in your respective gifts, in your respective areas, in your respective skills, your respective purposes. But this is what I want to ask you. What's in your hand? Exodus chapter 4, verse 2. The Lord answered, "What's that in your hand?" "A walking stick," Moses replied. So I'm asking you, what's in your hand? And the reason we're highlighting this verse, because what's in your hand is your gift. Some of you know your gift, some of you do not. But notice what Moses said. He said a walking stick, a staff. Welcome back, Truly Me. And here's what's going to hold some of you up. You're going to look at what's in your hand and you're going to say, it's just a stick. You're going to say, oh, I just sing a little bit. You're going to say, oh, it's just a little t-shirt business. Oh, it's just a little bacon business. Mercedes says, time is near. You're going to say, oh, I just have a little realty business. You're going to minimize what's in your hand. You're going to dismiss what's in your hand because to you, it seems ordinary. It seems small. It seems insignificant. It seems oversaturated because you saw 50 other people with the same thing in their hand. If you go out in the forest, how many sticks can you pick up? And God told you to pick up that stick specifically. You picked it up and then you saw all the other sticks on the ground and you said, this stick looks just like those sticks, so I'm going to throw it back down and be on my way. Let me remind you that God doesn't ask us to go where He won't provide the resources, the support, the skills, the supply. He won't provide us with the courage or the confidence. Any place He tells us to go or ask us to go, He will provide all of those things. Hey, Kapasutra. Hey, Kishay. Okay? So I'm asking you again, what's in your hand? Because some of you are going to dismiss this whole thing away and say, oh, it's only a fill in the blank. Now, here's the thing. A shepherd uses a stick to walk. He uses a stick to guide the sheep. He uses the stick to kill snakes and fight off animals. And he uses a stick for a lot of other things. His staff, not just like a little bitty stick, but you guys know the big old staff, strong, girthy sticks. Okay. And so a lot of people will look at that and say, it's only a stick, only in air quotes for those of you tuned in via audio. Hey, James, welcome back. It's only a stick. And yes, to the average human, it is only a stick. But when you have God on your side and God imparts His power onto that stick, it becomes so much more. Because God has the ability to take your little stick and make it miraculous. So God has the ability to take the little thing that is in your hand and turn it into something amazing. But you have to let Him. You have to believe that He is able and willing to do that for you. And He is. That's why He called you to use it. Who else? Who cares? Who else thinks that it's just a stick or only a little business or only a little hobby or only a little skill? In God's eyes, it is something amazing and phenomenal, and it is perfect just as it is. Because God takes joy in using ordinary things for extraordinary purposes. Hey, user 7921. God takes joy at using ordinary things for extraordinary purposes. Guess what else he likes to do? Because some of you are already making excuses and saying, oh, but I'm just me. I don't have this or this. Family, we just learned about all those excuses Moses said, and God didn't care about anything. Because just like God likes to take ordinary things for extraordinary purposes, God also likes to take ordinary people and use them for extraordinary purposes. Because to God, you are more than ordinary. Your gift is more than ordinary. You are extraordinary in his eyes. Mercedes says, amen. Welcome, Mrs. B. So when we're scared, we have to allow the word to be our staff of comfort and reassurance that God is with us, that he's present and he's powerful and he will provide for us. Because that's what Moses did. He took that staff and he took that staff everywhere. He held on to it tight. And anytime he was worried, he just looked at that staff and probably put it on his head. And I could imagine him just like leaning over on the staff and just thinking like, God, I need your help. I'm scared right now. I'm doubtful. I'm worried. Even though God showed him the way so many different times, because we're talking about, this is when God first called Moses to step into power. But as we follow his journey, we know that there were more times when Moses was scared, when he was doubting, and he was struggling. But he used that staff for reassurance. And so we might not carry around a staff all day, every day, but we can surely carry around the word with us. Literally, we can carry around an actual physical Bible. We can carry around the apps on our phones, or we can memorize it and carry it around in our hearts. We can write it down in journals, and we can carry the word with us. And so when we have those times where we're feeling fearful, then we can open up the word and say, ooh, fear not. When we have those times when we're feeling like we're not good enough, we can open up the word and say, ooh, I am made miraculous. I am made in his image. I am made perfect in his will. Whatever it is. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. God supplies for me. God will provide all my needs. God will work out all things for my good according to his purpose and will. Blessed is she who believes that the Lord will fulfill his promises to her. God said all I have to do is have faith of a mustard seed. God said all I have to do is believe. God said all I have to do is trust him. God said, fear not. God said, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Hey, Miss Nitra, welcome back. So we can use the word as our staff. Because remember, family, you are the gift. Kay says God's word is the bread of life. Yes. The good bread, not the one full of carbs. Bread you can eat all day, every day, and not gain an ounce of fat. Hey, Miss Cynthia, welcome back. Okay. So I want you to remember, you are the gift. You were born with it. Some of you are praying to find your gift. You're praying for something that you already have. You're praying, saying, God, help me find my purpose. Find my purpose. But your purpose is within you. Your gift is within you. You were born with it. You already have it. Hey, Barry Allen. And it's not about finding it. It's more so about uncovering it, or stop dismissing it, stop minimizing it, because some of you already know what it is, yet you're still not using it to its fullest potential. You aren't investing it wisely like the servants with the talents. Hey, Amber. Hey, Holly. Your gift will make room for you. God will prepare the way for your gift. Your gift will open up doors that no man, no amount of education, no amount of money can open, because God said so. He put you in that position because that's where he wants you. Again, if he calls you, he will equip you. So don't be afraid to use what you have, and know that what you have is enough. And more importantly, you are enough. What you have is enough. And more importantly, you are enough. What you have is enough. And more importantly, you are enough. What you have is enough. And more importantly, you are enough, because God said you were enough. Nobody cares what your raggedy ex-boo thing told you and how he lied on you or she lied on you and said you ain't crap, you ain't worth this, and you ain't worth that. That's not God. God said you are enough. You have always been enough, and you will continue to be more than enough because God said so. Nobody cares what your abusive, neglectful parents said to you when they called you stupid and said you wasn't going to grow up to be anything, because God said you would. But it's up to you to believe that, and it's up to you to take what God says about you, not what anyone else says, and use your gift. Some of you are calling yourselves that. It wasn't a toxic boo thing or an abusive parent or guardian or some bad friends. Some of you are telling your own selves, I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of love. I'm not good enough to start this business. Whatever it is that you may be telling yourself. So stop listening to what everybody else says. Stop listening to even what you are telling yourself, because that's nobody but the enemy with those negative thoughts. And listen to what God says you are and who you are, period. Mercedes has a round of applause emojis on TikTok. So now I'm asking you, who has God called you to be? So first, what's in your hand? Because it's not just a little something. You are looking at it as if it is ordinary, but remember, God likes to use ordinary things and ordinary people for extraordinary purposes. So who has God called you to be? Hey, Lele. So we're here to help others with our gift. We are not to be selfish with our gift. But as we are helping others with our gift, God will in turn bless us abundantly. Just like in our opening scripture, how the master blessed the two servants that invested the talents wisely. And he got angry with the servant that did not use his talent at all, because he was scared and he did nothing with it. And so please don't be like that servant. Be like the first two who invested wisely and doubled their talents. So take your gift, double it, use it, maximize it, whatever your gift may be. And it is time for you to step into your Moses season. There is no comparison. Don't compare your gift to Susie Q's and Johnny Q's gift. The only comparison that is allowed is you versus you. How can you be a better version of your yesterday you, of your last month you, of your last year you? That's it. Even this morning, how can I be a better version tonight than I was this morning? What can I improve upon? What can I do better? Did I use and invest my gifts wisely, or am I being fearful? We talked about on a previous day what happens when we allow fear to control our behaviors, and it wasn't good. Okay, family? So I encourage each and every one of you to subscribe to our Devotional Time for Mindset community. You can find the link to that. Just click the button at mindsetmastersuite.com, because it is time for you to step into your Moses season. And it's so crazy because we talked about just now that God gave Moses the instructions step by step, not all at once. And y'all remember, there was no community when we started Devotional Time for Mindset. And then it was just a consideration of a community. And then God said, you know what? Yes, please start the community. So I started it literally just a couple days ago. And it was not until tonight at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time, almost 2 hours ago, that God said, you are helping everyone that will be a part of that community step into their Moses season. You will become Aaron and they will become Moses. They will no longer be passively going through the lives that they're living. And it is time for you to stop passively watching and actively step into your Moses season and use your gift. Okay? So let's get into our day 61 intentional insight and act. All I want you to do, family, in the next 24 hours is to make a list of the ordinary things in your life, ordinary in quotes. Make a list of the ordinary things in your life and ask God how He would like you to use your ordinary gift, your small gift, your basic gift. Remember, what may be basic to you is miraculous to somebody else. You know, people will say to me, how are you so organized? It's not a big thing for me. I just am. I don't know. I just am. It seems basic to me, but it seems miraculous to somebody else. Have you ever seen somebody that can't cook? You could boil a hot dog and they will say, oh my gosh, how did you make this hot dog taste so amazing? And you're like, it's just a hot dog. But because they aren't cookers, that's not their gift. It is miraculous to them, but basic to you. It is ordinary to you, but extraordinary to them. And so those were very surface level examples. But your day 61 intentional insight and act is to make a list of the ordinary things in your life and ask God how He would like you to use your ordinary gift. How He would like you to use your ordinary gift and step into your Moses season. Okay? That's all I got, family. So I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for day 62 of Devotional Time for Mindset. Remember, you can download your free copy at mindsetmastersuite.com, your free copy of the book. You can join our Devotional Time for Mindset community officially by clicking the button at mindsetmastersuite.com. You can submit a prayer request at mindsetmastersuite.com. You can contribute your answers to our favorite list at mindsetmastersuite.com. You can do all of the things. You can click on the YouTube button and catch all the replays from the previous 60 days at mindsetmastersuite.com. That is your home base for all things devotional time for mindset. Okay. So I encourage each and every one of you to join the Devotional Time for Mindset community, the DTM community. And if you're not sure about it, it's okay. Just pray and ask God. I mean, what's the harm? What's the harm? You don't like it, then leave. You like it, then great. What's the worst that could happen? You stay in the same spot. That's the worst that could happen. Nothing gets better for you, which I don't believe that to be true. But the best case scenario is that you completely change your life or elevate to the next level or receive a healing that you've been trying to receive for a while. Okay, so mindsetmastersuite.com is where you can find all the things. I will see you guys tomorrow for day 62, same time, same place. If you are overseas or not in the Eastern time zone, then please make sure that you convert midnight Eastern time to your local time zone. Okay, so see y'all tomorrow. Bye, cousins. Have a great night or a great day. Bye.